Howdy, guys. Welcome back to the Left of Str8 Show Interviews, the premier podcast that shares the stories of our amazing LGBTQ community and, of course, fantastic straight allies, all from entertainment, foodies, books, music, and advocacy. I'm your host, as always, Scott Fullerton, and let's start talking. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're welcoming back to the Left of Str8 Show Interviews Sudi Rick Karadas, of multifaceted talent in the entertainment industry. Originally from New York and now residing in beautiful downtown Southern California, Rick has made significant contributions as an author, a screenwriter, a songwriter, and an actor. His diverse portfolio includes the feature film Walk a Mile in My Pradas, starring Tom Arnold, Dee Wallace, and Bruce Vilanch, as well as insightful books like Rainbow Relatives, Real Stories and Advice on How to Talk to Kids About LGBTQ Families and Friends. His latest work is Fork Social Media and the Algorithm It Rode In On. It delves into the complexities of social media censorship and the often misunderstood nuances of online communication. He also has a holiday song send up for the season as well. And I love getting Rick's unique perspective and creative endeavors that make a compelling voice in contemporary discussions on media and culture. We're going to talk about all this and more, but first, let's take a look.
As I stare at the log in the fire, it reminds me of romantic nights we had. Then I found out you're a liar, and my feelings have changed just a tad. I wouldn't care if you were run over by a reindeer, or if 100 elves on a shelf drag you out of here, or you found a river you can skate away on. All I want for Christmas is you gone. You're a selfish, vain narcissist who won't be missed a bit. My why I quit you list goes on and on. All I want for Christmas is you gone. Don't need a thing from Santa Claus, eBay or Amazon. All I want for Christmas is you gone. No more walking side by side in a winter wonderland. You've been nothing but a pain in my prostate gland. It's gonna be a wonderful...
Alrighty, we are back. That is the music video for Rick's holiday thing. All I want for you is Christmas gone.
All I want
Rick,
for Christmas...
how are we doing today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to the show. How's everything been going?
Thanks. Good. Yeah. Thanks for playing that video that Mel England starred in with me. That was fun.
Our good friend Mel England, of course. I just saw him over the summer down in Palm Springs, and always doing such great work. It looks like it was a lot of fun to shoot.
It was. It's funny. We did two versions of that video. Like one I did with Mel as my narcissistic boyfriend, and we did a separate one with narcissistic girlfriend where Lupe Carranza played my narcissistic girlfriend. But they were similar, couple minor differences in them, but there was just two different takes of it. So, and then Carla Guy directed and edited them, and we had just a lot of fun doing it. Yeah.
The holidays are so fun, and it's fun to have little fun parodies like that and everything. Have you always been a Christmas kind of guy, or what made you think of this kind of a project?
Yeah, I've always loved Christmas, and I've written a lot of Christmas songs. I just get a lot of ideas for Christmas songs. A few years back, I did another song, All I Want for Christmas Is Some Sleep, and we did a video for that, and that's on YouTube and iTunes and all that. And then I write some more serious stuff like Midnight Will Be Clear that Adrian Christian recorded. I did a version also in a video, but he also recorded his own version and did a good job. But I just have a lot of ideas for Christmas songs. One is called Naughty or Nice. I didn't do a video for that one yet. That should be a fun video to do because it's, are you naughty or nice? You look so nice. I want to get naughty with you is the theme of that one. But yeah, I just get ideas for a lot of Christmas songs for some reason. And I do love Christmas. I think I had one's called White Sand Christmas instead of a white Christmas, spending it on an island, and so I write, a lot of different kinds of songs, mostly country and other stuff. But for some reason, I get a lot of Christmas ideas. Yeah.
I am a huge Christmas fan. I love Christmas music. Everyone else gets mad when it starts playing after Halloween. But I said, you know what? Write me a Thanksgiving banger and then I'll forgive you, right? I don't have any Thanksgiving bangers going around. So
Right.
Christmas it'll be. I
Yeah.
want my holiday song.
Oh,
So
my other, yeah, Christmas is my happy place. That was another one of my songs. I didn't do a video for that, but those are all like on iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that. So I should do a whole Christmas cabaret show actually, because I have enough songs to do that, but I don't really do cabaret. So
yeah, that's a different animal altogether. They're fun, but they're hard to put together sometimes.
yeah, but maybe I'll
A
get
lot
other
of
people.
work by the time you get to all the ticket sales and everything else. It's
Yeah,
like, let's just film it and put it out for
right. I
everybody.
prefer to do fun videos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Well, and talk about you're saying. I mean, you're part of the LA base of the Nashville Songwriters Guild. There, talk about that and how long have you been writing music? Did music come first? Did the acting and writing come first? Is it all kind of one package? Or talk about the music side first.
Yeah, I've always loved songs and songwriting since I was like a teenager. And NSAI is, I'm a coordinator for them in LA, but they're based out of Nashville. Nashville Songwriters Association, Inc. or Incorporated or International, I forget now. But, we do monthly workshops and those are a lot of fun. And I've been writing songs. I started writing songs, then I started writing sketches, then I started writing scripts and then books. Like I didn't know I read all those things, but whatever I did comes to me, I just follow it. But and I've written a few songs that other people have recorded. I co-wrote a song with David Sanchez, a Donna Summer tribute song
Hmm.
called "When Donna Sang Last Dance," and a couple of years ago, and Collaborati did that's kind of on iTunes and stuff. And then I also wrote a tribute song for Olivia Newton-John, "Her Spirit Lives On," that Adrian Christian also recorded. So yeah, I write. Oh, I love Olivia Newton-John too. I mean that Olivia and Dolly are my two favorites. But yeah, I love music, and so that came first. The songwriting, and I'm more of a lyricist. I'll come up with melodies, but I'm like not a musician. I play a tiny bit of guitar, but not enough to say so. But I'll have other people figure out the chords, or but I'll come up with melodies and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that was my next question. If you kind of have the melodies in mind as well, or just simply start with the lyrics and kind of go from there. So you're a lyric first kind of
Usually lyrics
songwriter.
first, but sometimes like if I'm at the gym and I'm on the lip thing and I'm an idea will come to me, I might get the music, the melody, and the words at the same time, or if I'm driving or something, sometimes they'll come together, which usually works out best because it matches so well. When you do it lyrics first, you're kind of trying to make the music match the lyrics and stuff, so it doesn't always sound. But yeah, more lyrics. I'm better at lyrics. But I'll come up with a few good melodies, and I've co-written some songs also, and I try to find people who are better at melodies.
Nice. And how do you have like a preference? I mean, you've done, like I said, some straight songs, you've done some parody songs. Do you have a preference of which you like to do? Does one come easier than the other?
I like comedy. I do tend to write a lot of comedic songs, and then when I write a really serious song, people are like surprised. But honestly, the most serious song that ever came to me in a dream, uh, and it was about school shootings, and it was about Jimmy's not here for Christmas Day. And in the dream, I'm writing some lyrics and I'm like, oh my God, this is so sad. But because of a shooting, this family has to now spend Christmas without their child. So a happy time of year or a happy occasion now has been ruined because of so much gun violence. So I had the idea in the dream and I wrote a little bit in the dream. I woke up, I finished it. And I made a really cool video for that last year also. Jimmy's not here for Christmas Day. Um, so that's a really serious song. So I'm definitely Gemini because I write something really, really funny like All I Want for Christmas Is You Gone, which all I did was add this song, the word gone to Mariah Carey's title and made a whole new separate song. It has nothing to do with her song. But then I'll turn around and write something really, sad or serious. But I dedicate that video to all the children lost to, gun violence in this country and stuff.
Right.
Um, so
If and you've done, like I said, I know you've done a lot of collaboration with Adrian. I've seen a lot of your songs together with him. Do you have different artists? Do you write towards the artist, or do you kind of write the song and then kind of find from your friends or friend group the artist that might be best to represent it, or just do it yourself? How do you kind of match up these collaborations?
yeah, I usually just write the song whatever's coming. Now, the Olivia song, I kind of wanted to write a tribute, and Adrian was interested in that. So I actually wrote 3 Olivia tribute songs that he recorded some of them already, and he's doing a full album, a tribute album for Olivia. And hopefully, when it's done, So 3 of my originals, and he's doing 3 covers of hers. It's a really nice project. Um, but I'll write, like I wrote a song for Alzheimer's, I Won't Forget What You Don't Remember, and I made a nice video for that. That one I just sang on it, and made the video. So sometimes I always say it's better when someone else records my songs, but that one was nice. And I had Bunny Levine played my mother in that video. She's great. Bunny is great. She's was in my movie Welcome on My Prada. She's on Jimmy Kimmel sometimes. She's in the new Adam Sandler, You're So Not Invited to My Bar Mitzvah. She's like in her 90s. She's working more than any of us. And but yeah, what was the question again? um,
Yeah. No, that was it. I mean, if you have anyone in mind when you write a song,
oh,
or
right.
how
Yes,
do
so
you
no.
match the voice to the lyrics or the
Yeah.
voice of the songs, or anything particular that you like to do, or just kind
No.
of make the best match when it comes out there?
Yeah, so when it's written, like I wrote a song, The Only Way to Live is to Die with a Tan. So I thought, oh, Kenny Chesney would be great to record that. So I would love for him to do it. But that's the hard part. The easy part is writing stuff. The hard part is getting it out there or getting it made or so yeah, and a lot of my stuff is, well, some of my stuff is country, but it's really more traditional. The new stuff I don't really, can't get into as much. So, yeah. So some songs are really personal to me, so I'd rather do them myself. But, I know there's a lot better singers out there. So if, someone, I mean, I sing better than Yoko Ono and Bob Dylan, but, usually it's better if someone else does my songs.
Do you
Um,
have a favorite song of yours that you really enjoy either singing, performing, or listening to someone else perform?
um, I like my song Through the Storm a lot, which I did perform, but I would love to hear someone else do that as well. And I did a video for that also. And that's kind of an inspirational song. I do love my Christmas song. The Christmas songs. You know what? Midnight Will Be Clear is, I actually like my version a lot, and I like Adrian's version a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and they're two different kind of styles. But that song, it's funny. I don't, people think whenever I write like that's about a guy who quit drinking, like his New Year's resolution last year, and his favorite song was "I Came Upon a Midnight Clear." And this year, he's realizing Christmas is the first midnight it will be clear in a long time because his head is clear. And so everyone thinks I'm an AA, which I'm not. I don't write necessarily my own true stories. I just write whatever the story is. People think my mother has Alzheimer's because I wrote that other story. So no, but I just write. So, and that Alzheimer's song I really is special to me. And we're giving proceeds to AFA. And also, I mean, the little bit
Oh,
that comes in
nice.
from iTunes and stuff. And then the Olivia tribute song, Her Spirit Lives On, that Adrian did, that means a lot to me because I just loved Olivia Newton-John. If by writing a song in her honor, is just nice because the first album I ever got as a kid was "Come On Over" by Olivia, and I'm still such a huge fan. But yeah, so
Yeah, Olivia, I've been lucky to be on the peripheries of her. Of course, Del Shores worked with her so much. I'm good friends with Del, and Randy Slovacek's husband Michael was her
yep,
publicist for so long. And
yeah,
I've worked with Randy so much and met Michael a few times, and so
yeah.
I've always been kind of in her orbit. I've been there when she's been on the phone, but I haven't talked to her
I,
personally yet. But she
what's
was amazing
I
and
love it, and
such a great loss, but such
yeah,
a strong person
yeah.
all through everything.
I never met her, but I worked a catering event. Actually, in my book, How Catering Sucked the Life Right Out of Me, I talk about I'm working an event, we're setting up the tables, and the band is rehearsing, and all of a sudden, you hear someone saying, "Let's get physical, physical," and I have my back. I'm like, oh my God, she sounds so much like Olivia Newton-John. And I turn around, and there's Olivia Newton-John rehearsing with the band because they're performing that night. I'm like, I'm getting paid to watch Olivia Newton-John sing. So it was so
Wow.
cool. So, and I think I worked another event where she performed that, but I never got close to her really, and or really met her.
She is just supposed to be genuinely the nicest person you ever met. So it's like such a great loss, but I mean, she powered through a lot of stuff. So good
Yeah,
for her, and
yeah,
she shared her journeys with everything. So you got to
yeah.
love Olivia,
And
that's
she
for
just helped
sure.
a lot of people, and her music is very healing. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get in the movies for a bit. We talked about Walk a Mile in My Pradas. That was such a fun project back in the day. I mean, movie making is so hard these days. Everyone's making their own things on YouTube and web series and things like that. Talk about the movie business to you. Is it even worth it anymore? Do you find yourself just writing scripts and not want to develop them? You're just kind of trying to keep out of it all? Or what do you feel about the movie business these days?
Yeah, I mean, because I have 12 scripts here, gathering dust pretty much. And I love writing, so I write whatever it is. But that's the easy part. Getting them made is so hard, and getting the financing or getting a production company interested or, network or whatever. But I love writing, and I think some of them will get made. It just will take a while. I mean, Kevin Costner was talking about how it took him 20 years to get his new movie made. Like, so if Kevin Costner, it takes him that long, how am I supposed to get mine made? But and that's why I think I do the music
Right.
videos, because they're a little bit easier, to make. You can do it on a phone now with a 4K. Oh, and we shot a music video recently, Singing Under the Influence. The Carla guy also directed and edited, and it's going to be at the Culver City Film Festival December 11th. So I'm not sure if this will air. I think it will, but it's hard to get a full feature made. I got the one made like 10 years ago, and I've been trying to make these other ones ever since. And couple of them came close. Jolie Fisher wants to direct a movie I wrote called Charlie's Dream. We want to shoot that in Nashville. So I've been trying to do that for a while. So we're trying to attach name talent to that and get the funding. And it is very hard business, and it's, I think, slowed down a lot for everybody. Um, so, but I'm determined. If I don't get these movies made, I'm going to die trying. Like,
You got to keep at it, but yeah, it's just really tough, especially after the 2 strikes we had and everything. They're just networks are not bringing scripts in. I'm almost saying when I started the podcast back in 2015, a lot of my guests were people because it's the same thing. Back in 2015, it was tough to get scripts made. There was a strike near then, and so everyone started doing web series and creating their own content. And I'm starting to see that happen again, where everyone's creating their own content just to get the product out there. And then I have another good friend that I talked to recently, and they've kind of gone a different route. They've taken all of their screenplays and they're publishing them as books now, and they're making,
oh,
because it's such a good thing. They're taking the actual screenplay and putting it into book form and making them, whether it's a murder mystery or drama, whatever it is.
yeah,
And that's another way that I see people repurposing their work as well. But I think you need to be creative like that because it is such a hard business right now.
yeah,
So
yeah. So,
yeah,
well,
definitely.
I joke, you'll know if I won the lottery if I'm shooting like 3 or 4 of my movies.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into your writing. I mean, you started with Rainbow Relatives, I think, is the first time we talked, and that
Yeah.
was kind of a more serious endeavor, right? Kind of getting, helping the community out and kind of relating to everybody. Remind everyone, we did talk about that in the past, but remind everyone how that book came to you and that project.
Yeah, so Rainbow Relatives, it's on speaking to kids about LGBTQ families and friends. So for adults and speaking to kids on various subjects and topics, everything from uncles and aunts coming out to nieces and nephews to when one parent turns out to be gay and there's a divorce. There's funny chapter titles like that's called "Daddy Left Mommy for Tommy." The chapter about aunts and uncles is called "Your Uncle Wasn't in the Closet." No, there was no monster in your closet, but your uncle was. And there's a transgender chapter, "Kids, your father, well, she has something to tell you." So it's done with a sense of humor, but there's serious things like bullying and being accepting of all families as well. So it's entertaining, so that more people will be apt to read it than just being lectured about something. And I collected real stories from people, and including like Del Shores, because he was a gay dad, raised 2 kids, and it's kind of a fun book, but very informative. And it's funny because it seems like we shouldn't need that kind of book anymore, but it seems like we do keep going backwards and do need it more and more. But
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm kind of proud of that book, that I think it's helping people. And it was, I got a traditional publisher for that. So, and that was my first, I didn't think I'd ever write a book. I didn't think I'd ever write a full script. I mean, I had no idea that was, you know,
Well, I think that's one of the things I like about it is you really bring humor into all these subjects, serious or not, and any topic like social media, which we'll talk about in a second, and censorship and LGBTQ issues. I mean, it all comes under. It makes it more palatable under comedy, right? It gets people, maybe gets a foot in the door first, but talk about how you like to use that comedy. I mean, as someone who prefers comedy, but it's got to help you get in the door a little bit and get a wider audience, I would think.
yeah, because people want to, if they read something that makes them laugh, brings their guard down a little bit, or they just enjoy it more. So it's not like they're learning, but they're being entertained as they learn, I think. So that's why um, I just think, and it's just so much stuff going on in the world that is not funny and is horrendous, that
Right.
we need to just find whatever we can to laugh at and just detach and to escape, I think. So if I feel like, I might not be successful by selling millions of books, but I feel like if I reached a few people and made them laugh, that's successful to me. And if they learn something, or they, again, laughed out loud on an airplane and people looked at them funny because they were reading my book, which someone told me that happened to them. I feel like, okay, I've done my job. And then sometimes you make people cry if it's a sad thing, and that's kind of cool too. As long as I can move people,
Right.
you know.
Well, how important is it to weave all these stories in with the LGBTQ background there? Because I think, like you said, we've kind of come in full circle again, where it's time to be an activist again. I spent my 2 weeks after the election with my head down in my face and being really sad, but like I said, I'm a bear of a certain age, I like to say, and I remember when the AIDS crisis was going on, we had a presidential um, cabinet that didn't want to do anything, didn't want to say the word. And I
Yeah.
think it just brought us even closer together as a community during AIDS together. And so who knows if that'll have something like that again. But how important is you to weave these LGBTQ themes into your work?
Yeah, it's important, and it's just funny. Some of my scripts, sometimes people think everything I write is LGBTQ related or oriented or something. And like I said, I just write whatever the story that comes to me is. But many of the scripts are going to have LGBTQ characters in it, no matter what the story is. Also, um, and as far as like the books, well, the catering book, I'm trying to think if I incorporated. Um, I mean, obviously, I work with a lot of people who are LGBTQ who do acting and catering together and stuff. So I guess that is kind of related. And with the social media book, there's a little bit of that in there because some of it, some censorship or some things are related to that a little bit. And thank God, not as much as it used to be. I really feel we definitely have come, a long way and
Right.
stuff. Um, but you can see even on social media some of the hatred of some of the comments of the homophobic stuff. It's still there, and especially who's in charge of the country, it gets worse, whatever, but or going to be, but so yeah, I think it's important to um, put the what it is to call it, put the stories out there um,
Right.
and visibility and all that, and I'm trying to think. The Rainbow Relatives book, when I wrote it, I just kind of put a extra chapter, not extra, but the transgender chapter. Somebody suggested, "Oh, you need it." Oh, okay. And I didn't know as much about it. I interviewed a lot of people, and so I was so glad I did that, not realizing how much. It's much harder, I think, for trans people than gay people, even because they get. I think even especially today, even more, hatred towards them and stuff, and misunderstanding and all that. So.
Yeah, the transgender community is our most overlooked right now and the one that needs the most support. I mean, the ads that were spent disparaging it throughout this election was horrible. We
Yeah.
have our first elected transgender representative in Congress, and yesterday they decided to make a transgender bathroom bill where you can't use any of the genders. You have to do by assignment.
Yeah.
I think Texas last week decided they did their pre-bills for 2025. They have 32 transgender bills coming in 2025 in the state of Texas. So it's just a real, unfortunately, rallying point for the
Yeah.
right. And it's something that we have to really stand behind that community
Yeah.
with.
Because they're just like attacking them. Yeah. And yeah. So.
Right. Well, how you work with such various mediums from film to music to literature? How do you decide which medium best suits a particular story or message? Is it just like how much it writes by the length of it, or how do you kind of decide which way you want to go with something?
Well, usually if I have a story idea, it usually tends to be for a script or movie. With the book, so I don't write as many books as scripts, but um, the catering could have been a whole series. Like Party Down was a series about catering. I could have written a whole or a musical or something. But I think I can tell. Sometimes a song idea will lead. I'm like, oh wait, this isn't just a song. This could be a full movie. So sometimes that'll happen. Um, but sometimes it's just like, okay, this is all I need to say for this, so it's just a song. Or sometimes I'll picture a whole idea for a whole movie, uh, whatever that is. But so I don't. And funny, I don't think I have a lot of future book ideas. Most of them would be scripts. Like I said, I have 12 scripts up here gathering dust as Fast and Furious gets made 20 times. Um, so that's a good question. I'm trying to think how I kind of have like a gut feeling or what I'm sensing it should go in. Like the social media book, for social media and the algorithm it wrote in on, that was just clearly going to be, a book, but it could be a documentary also, actually, now that you mention it. You didn't mention it, but
Gotcha.
now that I mention it.
Nice. And then how do you balance authenticity in your writing and creativity when you talk about these real world issues in your work?
Oh, yeah, because a lot of times, like I said, I don't necessarily write about my own experiences. But what was good about like the Rainbow Relatives book, I actually collected real stories from real people and used those in there. So that was good. For and also for the social media book, I collected a lot of people's stories for that of who, and we'll probably talk about that in a minute of what the issues were with social media and stuff. So, and then some of my own experiences are in there as well. Um, which my books are nonfiction, so that's mostly truthful stuff. If I'm writing a script, then anything goes. Like it's not necessarily what happened to me or what happened to someone I know. It could be, although sometimes I will base it on, other people and embellish that story or something. I'm not like Taylor Swift where I write breakup songs about, or write songs about breakups and stuff like that. But sometimes you put some, you draw on past experience or, um, like the song about Jimmy's Not Here for Christmas Day. I have a certain strong viewpoints about guns and they need to do something and all that. So I
Right.
was making a specific point with that, and the video does that a little bit. Um, but doesn't mean sometimes I'll write really, really religious songs, and I'm not necessarily as religious as the song is. It's just whatever's coming to me, and but yeah.
Nice. Let's get into the book a bit here. So, I mean, it's all about social media. Where did the idea come to you, and how did you kind of germinate it from where it started to where it was today? What was the progressive thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I was on mostly Facebook. I don't use Facebook in the title, but that's really, when I say I wanted to call it fork Facebook. But so a lot of people get banned and restricted on there and they can't post for like 10 days or 30 days or, they were getting punished. But a lot of times because they're community standards, they don't want certain things on there. Like they don't want pornography, which okay. They don't want like bullying and stuff like that. And so there's a line of free speech and not, but one of the biggest problems was it wasn't even real issue. There was an algorithm that was picking out words so what happened with me, this is how the book idea really started, or I had enough. I wrote, stick a fork in him, he's done, meaning his career is over. And the algorithm says I'm promoting violence, and I was banned for like 30 days. So it literally thinks you're going to stick a fork in someone, So that's why I call it fork
Right.
social media and not using the other F word. But I also said to someone, go jump in the Hudson River. And the joke was more about the Hudson River being polluted. But the algorithm said I was promoting suicide. So again, boom, in Facebook jail, you can't post, you can't, and so from my NSAI meetings, my workshops, I couldn't even let people know when our next workshop was. So even though these stories I collected from people are funny of what the algorithm took wrong, like they thought hostas was a pornographic plant or something. So Blake Allwood, who's an author, he was put in jail for that or, banned and restricted. So it was happening to a lot of people over stupid things that the algorithm, and you can't get a real person on the phone to clear it up in 1 minute. You got to send an
Right.
email and not hear back, and you can fight it. And so it's like there's no jury, there's no judge. You're just, boom, you're no go to jail, no pass and go. You just go right to jail. And, but a lot of people, there were Facebook groups, like of thousands of people who were being put in Facebook jail. So I felt like, I can be a voice for these people. There's even a Dolly Parton tribute act. And Kelly O'Brien, she's in the UK, and they kept shutting down her page as if she's a fraud, pretending to be a celebrity. No, she had a tribute act that Dolly Parton liked, and and so she can't let people know when her shows are coming up. So it's affecting people's businesses. Like some of them advertise on Facebook, but they say, oh, break a leg to an actor, and all of a sudden they can't post for 20 days because the algorithm thinks they're promoting violence. I mean, there's so many funny stories. I'm trying off the top of my head. I'm not remembering a lot of them, but like, there was someone had a flea infestation in their basement. So they said, we got to bomb the basement. And they're talking to a friend. This is no one else's business even, but again, the word bomb alerted the algorithm. So nobody even complained. That's the thing. It has this algorithm just picking out and boom, you can't even defend yourself. Now it's gotten better the last several months. Like I don't see as many people, they're getting warnings. They weren't even getting warnings before. That's what it was. They're not even saying, listen, you need to take this down or letting you explain, no, that's not what it meant. now I think because my book came out, it's helping. But no, I think they, finally, but they'll find other things though to censor speech, or and that's the other
Right.
thing. Like, you could be totally wrong. You should be able to be totally wrong in something you say. Let's say. I mean, I'm not saying, there is a line, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater and that kind of thing, or something that's intentionally going to try to harm someone, or really false information that if people take it could harm them. I get that. But should be able to say to someone, you're a jerk. You have a right to say that. But you
Right.
really can't. You can't say that. It's like, but
Well, it's interesting, and I really enjoyed reading through it because I was wondering if it was going to be mostly stories, but you do have some good facts and figures and some good things to live by in there. It tells you what the warnings are. It's going to tell you what may trigger something, so it does have some good information that can help prevent it in the future in a humorous way. So I like that you did both sides of the coin there.
yeah,
And I think it is a very interesting discussion. We have all this discussion right now in AI, but you're right, the algorithm can't contextualize yet. AI is starting to contextualize, so you wonder if that's going to improve the algorithms at all with the AI,
right.
but it doesn't seem to have caught up at all yet, right?
Well, because it doesn't know sarcasm or expressions. Like, someone was wishing someone a happy birthday, and they were joking about their age, and they would said, "I'm going to have to cut you open and count the rings," like you would do with a tree. Now, we know we're human beings; we get that right away. Oh, that's a reference to the trees, and it's a joke. But the algorithm is like, "Oh, he's going to cut that guy open and slice him open with his. Oh, got to ban him." Like, stupid.
Right. Well, it's very interesting. What kind of response have you gotten from the book so far?
Um, Pretty good. I mean, it's gotten, I think, quite a few good reviews on Amazon, which is cool. I always like seeing some of the reviews. I think it's like 23 or 24 reviews on that, good reviews. So that's kind of fun to see. I mean, it's not like I make a joke like I have another non-best-selling New York Times, another non, a New York non, like non best non-selling New York Times whatever list. Book, but I like, as long as people who are getting it are enjoying it, I like it, and then if they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, but yeah, it's getting a good response. Some people are really glad I wrote it. Like, thank God you wrote this book. Blake Allwood kind of encouraged me to write it, and he almost wrote it with me because he had a lot of issues with them as well, and he's an author. But my conversation with him really led to the book as well. But yeah, I think so far people are, and again, not everyone is on social media. So, but I think people who've tried to get into a corporation and get through to them, and get something cleared up, can relate to trying to get it to Facebook or Instagram or Meta, whatever it's called, and you can't get a live person, and something that's so
Right.
clearly a mistake, you can't get it cleared up. It's very frustrating. So I think people will enjoy that, or they'll enjoy the stories, even though believe it or not, there are people that aren't on Facebook or Instagram or really
Right.
hardly any social media. I don't know how that's living like a caveman, isn't it?
But it is frustrating, and you mentioned in the book too. It's like these companies are making money hand over fist, and they can't afford 100 operators overseas
Right.
somewhere to take a couple of
Yes.
calls, right?
I get annoyed at overseas things too, but they don't even have that. Yeah, they don't even have, if someone you don't understand what they're saying with their accent, they don't even have that. You can't even call anybody. It's like there is no. Yeah, it's all, and you say, oh, you can appeal this, so you send the appeal, and it even says, but we won't look at most of these or something like. Anyway, but yeah, so that's a very frustrating though. So many businesses you can't get a live person, and it's just so
Right.
sort of, yeah.
That would be my next book of all the on hold messages you've gotten throughout the lives because those are crazy.
Oh yeah, and you're very important to us, so please, yeah. Obviously, I'm
Exactly,
not. I've been
right?
holding for an hour. How important can I be? You know.
Well, Rick, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. Remind everyone the titles of the book and the title of the song and where they can find all your work.
Yeah. So the new book is Fork Social Media and the Algorithm It Wrote In On, Jailbird Stories, and that's on Amazon, and it's also some Barnes and Noble. And the Christmas song is All I Want for Christmas Is You Gone. It'll be at the Culver City Theater Film Festival, December 11th. So you can look online for that. It's on iTunes and on YouTube. I have also that video and some of my other Christmas videos. Like I said, for All I Want for Christmas Is Some Sleep in those. I have a Spotify channel. I think it's under Sudi Karatash, or Sudi Rick Karatash, my YouTube channel, and Spotify. There's not too many Sudi Karatashes, so If you put that in, it should pop up. And the website, all the info on my 3 books is there. SudiRick.com. My legal name is Sudi, but that's too common, so I go by Rick. No, Sudi's like my Turkish name is my English name, but so SudiRick.com. I tried to keep it as simple as possible. But what else? Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and I guess I'm trying out that new one. What's it called? The
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Blue
I don't know. It's
Sky.
Blue Ski or Blue Sky. Yeah. So I finally joined that a couple days ago. So I'm not, but I mean, there's just too many to keep up with. But I'm definitely not on that. This one.
Yeah, I'm kind of slowly transitioning over to it. I popped up the other day. I had a 12-year anniversary on X, and I said, well, this is a perfect day to go to Blue Sky. So I opened up my Blue Sky on my 12-year anniversary, and I'm slowly kind of getting my friends to move over to the other one. But it's tough. I mean, like I said, after 12 years, you build up lots of relationships and friendships on the Twitter, and it's hard to get everyone over there. So we'll see what happens. I'm slowly trying to move over to it. We'll see what happens.
Because that other one is just a cesspool. It's like, the X, I mean.
Well, Sudi Rick Karatas, thank you so much for being on Left of Str8 Show. Stay on the line for me. Guys, we're going to have a fun 5 questions with Rick next week, so be sure to stay on the tune for that. Pick up the book, listen to the music, and have a great time. We'll see you next time right here on Left of Str8 Show Interviews. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Left of Str8 Show. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast distributor, and please give us a 5-star rating so more listeners can find us. You can follow us on social media, and be sure to check out our website for contests and other news and information. See you next week.